You are listening to the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. We are in week 8 of Anna Gale Line's latest novel, The Lightyears, involving a Mobile Alliance surgical hospital battling an epidemic at the front lines of the Freedom Alliance Crimson Fleet War. This is episode 8, The Return Date. If you have not subscribed, do so now, and if you are on YouTube, hit the bell to be notified of new episodes.
Why don't you go back to the party? I will put the 2 youngest to bed. I am going to get some work done after that, so don't keep the children up too late. Charlie and Spencer need to be in bed by 2130 and Zariah can stay up until 2200. If you two are in the middle of bonding, I will allow 2300. He moved in and put his hand on the side of my face and pulled it closer. I would rather be bonding with you. He brushed his lips across mine, then whispered, "Good night, Danny." I followed him down the hallway to retrieve Max and Zach. After putting them to bed, I retreated to my room, where I took a shower and dressed in a powder blue silk pajama top and shorts. I came over to the couch and sank onto it. The comm system told me, 1023 is on the line for you. Chip, put him through please. I waited a moment before I asked, were your ears burning? Because we were just speaking about you. I figured you might after I sent Peter to see me? Yes. What do you know about him? How well do you know him? He has been working for me for 10 years. He is a good man. I was so surprised when I realized he was related to you, and Adam. I am so sorry about Adam. I know you didn't know him, but it takes an incredible woman to take in the children of a brother you didn't know. I don't understand why Peter or Brianna didn't take them in. There is a lot to the story that you don't know. Just like there is a lot to the story they don't know. But I know that you are going to do a DNA test on Peter, and I am sending you all the information I obtained when we did a background check on him before hiring him at the FBI. Thank you. And I have information for you about the origin of the disease. You need to speak to a person named Henrick Balsam. You will find him at the University of Bergen in Norway. He is awaiting your call. He was quiet for a moment. Danny, you have to find the cure to this, he pleaded. Isabella has it along with my wife and sons. I cannot lose my family over this disease. Are they on my protocol? Your protocol? Yes, a cocktail of drugs that seem to keep it under control. I have the disease and have had it for over 2 years. Give the doctor who is caring for them my information, and I will explain it to him. You have the disease? Yes, but that is our secret because I don't want to be suspended from duty. I have to see this through. I understand. Your secret is safe with me. I hate to ask this, but Isabella is on a planet near you with her class. If you get a chance over the next few days, could you go and check on her? Maybe put her on this protocol of yours? I will see what I can do. Send me the information. Actually, now that I think about it, we are coming to get Isabella in a few days. Would it be okay if we all popped in to get the family started on your treatment? I guess that depends on whether you are going to be nice if Graham is still here. You are going to help my family to live longer. I will be nice to whoever you want me to be nice to. Okay, then, just inform my company clerk when you will be visiting. After catching up for a few more minutes, I disconnected the call and walked over to the bed and pulled back the covers. I climbed in and started doing some research until I fell asleep. A few hours later, I awoke to the alarm sounding, and the computer announcing, incoming wounded. I jumped out of bed and quickly put on my black flight coveralls, the standard uniform for Space Vessel Freedom Alliance officers. I rushed down the hallway, around the furniture to the main doors. I ran to the travel tram at the end of the corridor and took it up to the hospital. I navigated my way to the hangar doors as they opened. The spacecrafts that carried the wounded were hooked up to a jetway. One to each of the 5 open doors. As the wounded started pouring in, the nurses and I triaged people. My heart sank when I saw the familiar faces. On one gurney was a man with dishwater blonde hair, a square, long face and a broad nose. I knew him to be 6 feet 2, thin with a muscular build. He normally looked healthy for a man nearing his late 40s. On the next one, his wife, with jet black hair, an oval face, a delicate nose. Both were covered in cuts, bruises and blood. As I triaged the rest of the wounded, I looked for their children. Where were their children? Finally, I saw a girl who seemed to be about Zariah's age with her hair the same color as her mom's but her face and nose, the same as her dad's. Then her two brothers who had their mom's face with their dad's nose and hair color. Okay, start getting them into operating rooms, I began, pointing to the girl and her brothers. These three and the mom and dad over there have the disease. The older nurse with gray hair in a bun and a wrinkled face with a large nose and deep-seated eyes asked, "You know that just by looking at them?" I shook my head. The dad is a friend of mine. Of course. After hours of being in the operating room, I came out and headed into post-op. I sought out the father and picked up the Quan pad at the end of the bed. His vitals looked good. He opened his eyes and met mine. I didn't mean to meet like this. What happened? Someone bombed the facility Isabella's class was visiting. Is my family okay? You all needed surgery, but everyone is doing fine for now. We will get your family on my treatment just as soon as it is safe for us to do so. Can I meet the doctors who worked on my family? I just want to thank them. I am the doctor who did surgery on your wife, and my staff doctors worked on the kids, but my chief surgeon did your surgery. I pressed my thumb to my comlet and said, Dr. Riley, when you have a chance, can you come into post-op room 735? I am checking on a couple of my patients. Then I will be ready for lunch, he returned. You thinking food court? Or do you want to? I am in one of your patients' rooms. He wanted to meet you, but I know you are busy. I gestured to the room and said to Dax, as you can see, we have put the entire family in here. I figured that you would want to be together, that you would like to know that your family is being cared for. You know me pretty well. I nodded. We chatted for a few minutes before the doors slid open to reveal Jake. He spotted me and moved over to Dax's bed. Dax, this is Dr. Jake Riley. The doctor who saved your life. Dax stuck out his hand. Thank you. He turned to me and replied, I am guessing why you operated on my wife instead of me is because we are close friends. You hardly know Amira. When he saw me nod, he asked Jake, is this your first time serving with Danny? Jake and I looked at each other and laughed. Dax moved his eyes from me to Jake and back several times. I am guessing that is. No. Jake is Zariah's dad. He caught Jake's eye. So, you know Danny very well. I understand from our intel that you have been in captivity for the last 10 years. I am glad to see you are out. Danny knows that if I had any intel on where you were, I would have slipped it to her. I don't know her well enough to figure out why she won't get back with me. I am no expert, but I would suspect it has to do with you being gone for so long. There is a lot that happened to both of you in that period of time. Am I close, Dan? When I nodded, I responded, I don't know why we are talking about this in front of you, but I did agree to date him, to get to know him again. Dax decided, eyeing Jake, if I had to guess, he is uncomfortable with how close we are, so he is intentionally marking his territory. He wants me to know that he is with you, or trying to get back with you. To Jake, he added, man, I have a wife and children. I don't need Danny as anything more than a friend. Danny is too much woman for me. Jake's lips inched at the sides. He folded his arms across his chest. I can see that. It takes a strong man, a man confident in himself, to date a woman like Danny. My Quan pad chimed. I looked down. Henrick Balsam. I waved my Quan pad in the air. I have to take this. It's a lead. I met Jake's disappointed gaze. Give me a few minutes, then we will have lunch. He nodded. I stepped out of the room and ducked into a supply closet. Chip, please put Henrick Balsam through. Colonel Kassidy, this is Henrick Balsam. I have some information I think you might find interesting. I knew your late husband Josh. I grew up with him and Peter on the island. Peter, Adam and I were not as free as Joshua, of course, but the kids who were trained in useful skills like engineering or medicine were able to leave with the understanding that there was a return date. If you didn't return, you would be executed. Adam not returning got him killed. Peter and my return date is in 6 months. We need to figure out who these people are and to stop them. You think that the leaders of the island, Josh's family, is behind my brother's death? It is run by a committee of people. Josh's family is the only members we know, but we don't know the mastermind, or who ordered the hit, but yes, I do believe that the island committee killed Adam because he wouldn't return. I know that they use this university to work on hush-hush projects. One of which I believe is this epidemic you are investigating. I am sending you what I have to collaborate my theory. You comb through it and see if we have anything. If you have any questions, let me know. Then the line went dead. I moved my way out of the room and back down the hallway to see Jake coming toward me. We had to put the Wheaton family on your cocktail of medications for the disease, Jake advised me, turning me around, helping me to negotiate our way out of the hospital maze. We had to get it under control. Apparently, most of the patients we worked on have it. I am not surprised. Once we finally made it out of the hospital, he led me to the travel tram. We took it to the food court. Sitting at a corner table in the back, I punched a baked ziti with a soda into the terminal screen embedded into the table. Jake typed in his order. Then he looked at me and smiled. Taking my hand, he whispered, "We did well in there today." "What did your source say?" "He thinks the island committee had Adam killed because he didn't return by the date they told him to. Peter and my source have 6 months to return to captivity or be killed. We have to solve this by then because I know that I didn't want to meet my family, but now I want to get to know my brother and sister and their families. If we can help them stay alive and shut down the island committee. Oh my lands, what if? What if they killed Josh? He was a kid of a member of the island committee, but apparently his father was only one of the members. I was led to believe that Josh's father was the head guy, but that may not be true. Nevertheless, he was my way out of that place. The android server, who was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman dressed in black slacks and a long-sleeved, white shirt, interrupted our conversation with our meals. She slipped a burger, which lay on a pillow of fries, in front of Jake before setting down a soda. She put my ziti and soda near me. Then she scurried off to the kitchen. Jake and I shot each other an amused glance. I told them that we need more varied types of androids to serve in the food court. They cannot all look like her. Jake raised the privacy wall around us, so no one could eavesdrop. You think that Josh's father would order a hit on his own son? He returned to the original conversation, picking up his burger and putting it to his mouth, that he did not have enough clout to save his son? And through this disease? Adam was killed in an explosion, wasn't he? And why would they kill your sister-in-law and a lot of innocents? He took a bite of his burger. After I finished my first bite of ziti, I answered, because these are not rational people. Taking people hostage and then letting them free with a date to return or they kill the people. That is not rational. I took a sip of my soda, then looked at him over the rim. I am going to tell you this up front. I am going after these people because it is our case and because we need to free my biological parents, but if it turns out they killed Josh or my brother, you are going to have to stop me from killing them. I put the glass down. He frowned. Because you loved Josh. Why avenge Adam? You didn't even know him. I looked over at him. I wouldn't do it because I loved Josh. I did. I wasn't in love with him. But the people who killed Adam and Josh would be the reason Charlie and Spencer are without their dad and why Max and Zach are without theirs. They are just the tip of the iceberg though, because I saw things and was made to do things on that island that I still see in my dreams and in my real life. And I am sure that I am not the only one they have tortured like that. They need to pay. I am asking you to stop me from killing them outright. They need to be brought to justice. I went back to eating my ziti. He ate his burger for a few minutes before he looked up at me. For you to even entertain going that far, they would have had to do horrible things.
If you would like to learn more about Anna Gale or to purchase her fiction and nonfiction books, go to AnnaGaleLines.com. That is AnnaGaleLines.com. Right now you can buy 3 ebooks and get the 4th one free. There you can sign up for the newsletter to keep up to date on what is happening in the world of the Anna Gale Lines podcast, where she inspires people to take control of their lives, and her science fiction podcast, the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. To follow her on social media, it is Anna Gale Lines on Twitter, Lady Anna Gale on TikTok, Anna Gale Lines Artist on Instagram, at the Anna Gale Lines podcast on YouTube. You can join the Facebook page at Author Anna Gale. Thank you for listening and thank you for being you.